This is beyond ridiculous.
Run and jump.
No.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Come on.
Thank God I'm drunk. Here we go.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 funniest rom-coms of all time.
Am I that transparent? I want you. I need you. Oh baby, oh baby.
For this list, we'll be looking at those romances and love stories that had us rolling in the aisles. Which rom-com had you in stitches? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. Number 20, 27 Dresses.
You buzzed past me earlier. I saw you changing gowns. You were in 2 weddings in one night, weren't you? It's a little upsetting, don't you think?
Well, they're both really good friends of mine, and their weddings happen to be on the same night, so what was I supposed to do?
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. In Jane's case, a whopping 27 times. Then she meets a cynical reporter named Kevin who covers wedding announcements even though he believes marriage is a sham. Sparks fly and hijinks ensue.
She's got electric boots. Boots. Below her shoes. You know I read it in a magazine. Oh.
I love the song.
Benny and the Jets.
The comedic chemistry between Katherine Heigl and James Marsden is undeniable, and the banter is practically non-stop. You know how this one is going to end from the beginning, but that doesn't make the ride any less entertaining. Of course, we're mainly just jealous that 27 people consider Jane to be such a good friend.
And how do you afford these weddings? I mean, the dresses and the airfares and the wine of the month clubs.
Hey, people love that gift, and I'm a frequent member, so sometimes they throw in a free Gewürztraminer.
Number 19, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Lara Jean writes love letters to her crushes, though she never intends to actually send them. As per the typical embarrassing chaos of rom-coms, they somehow end up in the mail.
You were so lonely, and I could tell Peter liked you, and I knew you wouldn't do anything about it. So you just sent all 5 of them. I thought 5 chances at a boyfriend was better odds.
This Netflix hit is full of flawed but genuinely lovable characters. Lara Jean's snarky best friend Christine, for example. Then there's her younger sister Kitty, who has impeccable comedic timing, especially for a preteen.
And my name, thanks for asking, is Catherine Songcubby. Kitty to my friends. You can call me Catherine.
Yes, ma'am. She's feisty.
And of course, Lara Jean herself, whose inner monologue is the perfect blend of wit and heartfelt sincerity. Although we wouldn't wish this crazy situation on anyone, it does make for some truly laugh-out-loud moments.
Hey! Stop that! 2 more laps for you, Cubby.
Thank you. Number 18, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
I want you to know I don't care about any of that stuff. Because I'm in lesbians with you.
What?
When the young bassist of a garage band decides to woo delivery worker Ramona Flowers, he discovers he must first fight her 7 wicked exes.
Wait! We're fighting over Ramona?
Didn't you get my email explaining the situation?
I skimmed it.
You will pay for your insolence!
Based on a series of graphic novels, Scott Pilgrim leaves heavily into its comic book origins for unique visuals. Still, the film manages not to take itself too seriously, despite starring icons like Michael Cera, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Chris Evans, Anna Kendrick, and Jason Schwartzman. From the evil X fights reminiscent of video game boss battles to the almost constant jokes and snarky comments, it's truly an out-of-the-box rom-com.
How's it going back there?
Number 17, As Good as It Gets. Melvin Udall is a successful novelist with a lot of baggage. Rude, misanthropic, and plagued by OCD, he's driven away nearly everyone in his life.
Well, I work all the time. So never interrupt me, okay? Not if there's a fire. Not even if you hear the sound of a thud from my home, and 1 week later, there's a smell coming from there that can only be a decaying human body.
Melvin's constant verbal abuse of his artist neighbour Simon, not to mention pretty much everyone else around him, is so over the top, it's absurd. And we can't help but laugh. Only Carol, a waitress at his daily breakfast spot, can tolerate him. But Carol has problems of her own.
I was gonna guess by your eyes, I'd say you were 50.
If I went by your eyes, I'd say you were kind, so much for eyes.
Jack Nicholson is at his most Jack Nicholson, and it's an utter delight. When Carol's patience and a little dog's love start to rub off on Melvin, he finds himself changing in small but significant ways, and we find ourselves rooting for him.
I got a real great compliment for you, and it's true.
I'm so afraid you're about to say something awful.
Don't be pessimistic. It's not your style.
Number 16, 10 Things I Hate About You.
It's your girlfriend's sister.
Wait, that's Bianca's sister?
The mewling, Rampalian wretch herself.
Based on Shakespeare's play, The Taming of the Shrew, this teen rom-com takes place not in Padua, Italy, but in Padua Hills, Washington. High school sisters Kat and Bianca live under the thumb of their paranoid, overprotective father. While Kat has no interest in the immature boys at school, Bianca wants to date and go to parties like a normal teenager.
What's normal? Those damn Dawson's River kids sleeping in each other's beds and whatnot?
Daddy, that is so not.
Got news for you. I'm down. I've got the 411, and you are not going out and getting jiggy with some boy. I don't care how dope his ride is.
The girls, their romantic pursuers, and their father constantly trade one-liners, and the sarcasm flows magnificently, just as it does in the original play. We think the bard would approve.
Have you seen it? Who? William! He asked me to meet him here! Oh, Mandela, please tell me you haven't progressed to full-on hallucinations.
Number 15, Notting Hill. Hugh Grant has charm coming out of his ears. It's no wonder he was the rom-com king in the 90s and 2000s.
I'm very sorry about the surreal but nice comment. Disaster.
That's okay. I thought the apricot and honey thing was the real low point.
When humble bookstore owner Will crosses paths with a beautiful American movie star, he doesn't exactly sweep her off her feet. But his bumbling sweetness combined with his dry English wit make him irresistible.
It's a tease. Yeah, well, it's a disease. It's a clinical thing. I'm taking pills and having injections. I'm told it won't last long.
Despite all of the complications in their way, the two can't bear to stay apart. Filled with a quirky cast of unique characters and absurd situations, this movie's particular brand of humour is both entertaining and heartwarming.
No, nice try, gorgeous, but you don't fool anyone.
Pathetic effort to hog the brown.
Number 14, While You Were Sleeping. Peter is the bright spot in Lucy's long, lonely days at the train station fare booth.
My Prince Charming. Well, we've never actually spoken, but I know someday we will. I know it. I just know it.
Despite being virtual strangers, when an attack by muggers puts him in a coma, a series of misunderstandings leads Lucy to pretend to be his fiancé. But it's Peter's brother Jack who ends up winning Lucy's heart.
And then I leaned.
Yeah.
Okay, how did I lean when I leaned?
How were you leaning? It's
Yeah.
a lot different than hugging. Hugging's very different. Hugging, that involves arms and hands, and leaning is whole bodies moving in like this.
This movie could have been just another generic romantic comedy, if not for Sandra Bullock's irresistible appeal. As the hapless Lucy, she manages to be both graceful and inept at the same time. As she struggles to keep up her ruse, it's no surprise that Peter's entire family falls for her.
I need to ask you a question.
Get down on your knee. It's more romantic.
Proposing, let him do it.
I am letting him do it.
Number 13, Crazy Stupid Love.
The last person in the world that I'd want to hurt is you.
If you keep
Cal,
talking, I'm going to get out of the car.
I think the fact that I did it, it just shows how broken we are. How much we really need Cal! Oh my God, Cal!
Cal is middle-aged, recently divorced, and kind of pathetic. Jacob, on the other hand, is young, stylish, and very successful with the ladies.
Do you find me attractive?
She does.
I don't.
You do. She does.
Yes, she does. I don't.
You do.
You do.
When Jacob decides to help Cal turn his life around, they both go through some unexpected romantic highs and lows. Although Steve Carell is the better-known comedic actor, Ryan Gosling holds his own alongside the veteran and proves that he too is no slouch when it comes to humour. And who doesn't love a classic makeover montage? Especially when the jokes come as fast as the outfit changes.
Be better than the Gap. Be better than the Gap. Say it.
I'm better than the Gap.
Number 12, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. At this point, we'll watch anything with Steve Carell in it. He stars as the titular virgin, Andy, whose co-workers team up to help him overcome his virgin status.
All right, Ninja Master. We've given you all the advice we have to give. Now you gotta put it in action.
Advice? You guys all give me different advice.
As is the case in many of the director Judd Apatow's films, much of the dialogue in this movie was improvised, giving this cast of brilliant entertainers plenty of opportunities to flex just how truly hilarious and quick-witted they are. Still, there is one scene where Carell isn't acting.
Oh, we're gonna need more wax!
I'm staying. This is gonna be good.
And clear all my appointments in the afternoon.
The waxing scene is 100% real, and it really makes the whole thing that much better. Alright, everyone hold up heart hands for Steve Carell.
Sweetie pie! ¿Cómo se llama? No, Kelly Clarkson!
Number 11, Groundhog Day.
How much longer do I have to sit here?
I'm just trying to give you your money's worth. You paid top dollar for me.
Well, I think you were a bargain.
Sweet of you to say. You're probably right.
Imagine having an infinite number of chances to change your life and win over the person you love. After a while, you might get pretty creative. The original Groundhog Day puts an ingenious spin on the genre, trapping the protagonist in a time loop that repeats every 24 hours.
I don't worry about anything anymore.
What makes you so special? Everybody worries about something.
That's exactly what makes me so special. I don't even have to floss.
From teaching himself ice sculpture to kidnapping the Punxsutawney groundhog, Phil tries everything to pass the time, and eventually to break out of his metaphysical prison. Combine this crazy situation with Bill Murray's impeccable delivery, and you get a rom-com that turns even the darkest situations into hilarity.
I am an immortal.
Special today is blueberry waffles.
Why are you telling me this?
Because I want you to believe in me.
Number 10, When Harry Met Sally.
You realize, of course, that we could never be friends.
Why not?
What I'm saying is, and this is not a come on in any way, shape, or form, is that men and women can't be friends because the sex part always gets in the way.
When Harry Met Sally is considered to be one of the greatest romantic comedies of all time, popularizing the genre after it was released in 1989. It is, of course, known for the famous scene that takes place in Katz's Deli, where Sally delivers a very enthusiastic performance to prove a point.
Oh God. Oh.
I'll have what she's having.
While Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan are both excellent in their leading roles, Carrie Fisher adds great comic relief as Sally's best friend Marie. The film is also peppered with interviews of elderly couples telling their love stories, each of which is funnier than the last.
What did I say?
You said, what are you doing after?
Right. So I ditched Roberta, we go for coffee, a month later we're married.
35 years today after our first marriage.
Number 9, Just Friends. In romantic comedies and teen movies, it's typically the girls who have the dramatic makeover, but that trope gets gender swapped in Just Friends. In this story, Ryan Reynolds stars as Chris, a guy who was overweight and nerdy in high school. When he comes back to his hometown as an adult, however, he's become both successful and incredibly good-looking.
You look so great! Look at this body! You're like a new man!
So naturally, he sets out to win the girl of his teenage dreams. This movie is full of over-the-top gags and laugh-out-loud moments.
Wow, you don't see that every day.
At its heart, it also features a sweet love story between two former besties who finally managed to make it work after years apart.
And I want to tell you how beautiful I think you are, inside and out. And I want to have babies with you, and I want to marry you, and I love you. Jamie, I always have.
Number 8, Moonstruck. Today, it's kind of hard to picture Nicolas Cage as the star of a romantic comedy, and perhaps equally hard to imagine Cher starring opposite him.
Bring me the big knife.
No, Ronnie.
Bring me the big knife. I'm gonna cut my throat.
Maybe I should come back another time.
But that's exactly the unlikely combination that 1987's Moonstruck gave us. Cher even won an Oscar for the role.
I'm in love with you.
Snap out of it!
The movie is something of a cult favourite because of the way it balances offbeat comedy and an engaging story that takes us into the world of a group of quirky Italian Americans living in Brooklyn.
He got hit by a bus.
No, bad luck. Your mother and I were married 52 years. Nobody died. You were married, what, 2 years? Somebody's dead. Don't get married again, Loretta.
Rom-coms aren't known for being hits with the critics, but this one holds a Rotten Tomatoes score of 94%. Number 7. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Technically, Forgetting Sarah Marshall is more of a breakup movie than a traditional rom-com, but don't worry, it totally has a happy ending. In fact, if you're going through a breakup yourself and need a good laugh, this movie might be the perfect thing to cure your heartbreak.
Peter, you suck. Peter, you suck. Peter, you don't do anything of value.
Jason Segel plays a guy who has just been dumped and has to contend with the fact that his ex is now dating a famous rock star. Things only get worse for him when he heads to Hawaii to take a vacation and learns that both his ex and her new beau are at the same resort.
She's here with some guy already. Kind of messed up.
Right?
While getting over a broken heart is usually more devastating than comedic, this movie is able to poke fun at all of the awful things that happen to Segel's character, making us able to laugh at our own breakups too.
Maybe it's good we got hurt like that, you know? I don't know about you, but it makes me feel like impervious to pain.
Yeah. Kind of like there's nothing left to be afraid of.
Number 6. My Best Friend's Wedding. My Best Friend's Wedding is a unique romantic comedy in that, spoiler alert, it doesn't have a happy ending.
The misery, the exquisite tragedy, the Susan Hayward of it all.
The plot revolves around Jules, played by Julia Roberts, a woman who suddenly realises she's totally in love with her longtime best friend. Unfortunately, this revelation comes just before he's about to get married.
I realize this comes at a very inopportune time, but I really have this gigantic favor to ask of you. Choose me. Marry me. Let me make you happy.
This is a movie that's much more about the journey that the protagonist goes through than it is about a fairy tale happily ever after. Along the way, she makes plenty of mistakes, and each one creates increasingly funny scenarios as the plot moves along.
I think I'm gonna cry. Me too.
Number 5. Coming to America. The plot of Coming to America is funny from the start. Eddie Murphy plays a spoiled prince of the fictional African nation of Zamunda, who isn't super enthusiastic about his family's attempts to set him up in an arranged marriage.
I want the woman to love me for who I am, not because of what I am.
And who are you?
I am a man who has never tied his own shoes before.
Wrong. You are a prince who has never tied his shoes.
Instead, he decides to head to the United States to find an independent wife on his own. It's a classic fish-out-of-water story that involves Murphy's character, Akeem Joffa, learning a lot of hilarious lessons as he contends with American culture.
America is great indeed. Imagine a country so free, one can throw glass on the streets.
Fans of the original movie were thrilled when a sequel, Coming to America, was released in March of 2021.
We are going back to America. Oh, hell no, Your Majesty.
Number 4. The Wedding Singer. This movie is universally beloved, and it is considered more of a classic comedy than a romance by most viewers, despite the fact that there's a love story at its core. In a way, The Wedding Singer is a traditional Adam Sandler movie, with the actor playing another variation of his signature goofy character.
Do you have any experience?
No, sir, I have no experience, but I'm a big fan of money. I like it. I use it.
In this iteration, he's playing Robbie, a wedding singer who's engaged to the wrong woman and eventually falls for a waitress, played by Drew Barrymore.
I could be the man who grows old with you. I wanna grow with you.
The film balances a sweet romance with some laugh-out-loud moments, making it a great date movie.
The Mile High guy is Glenn. They're on this plane.
No way!
You guys gotta help me.
Right! Yeah!
Sandler and Barrymore do it again in 50 First Dates. Number 3. The Proposal. Starring Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock, The Proposal tells the story of Margaret, a woman who basically forces her assistant Andrew to get engaged to her so she can avoid being deported.
I'm not gonna marry you.
Sure you are.
Because if you don't marry me, your dreams of touching the lives of millions with the written word are dead.
In order to sell the story to the immigration authorities, she ends up accompanying him on a trip to visit his family in Alaska. This city girl is totally out of place in the more natural setting, and has a hard time letting loose with Andrew's laid-back relatives.
I'm not getting on that boat.
You don't have to. See you in a few days.
No, I can't swim.
Hence the boat.
One of the film's highlights has to be Betty White playing Andrew's grandmother, a sweet-looking yet foul-mouthed lady who, in one memorably hilarious scene, has Bullock's character perform a ritualistic dance with her.
Let me see you get low. You scared. Drop your ass to the floor. You scared. Let me see you get low. You scared. Drop your ass to the floor. You scared.
Number 2, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. This movie features a love story that develops from a series of lies, which makes it amusing to watch even though it's not the healthiest start to a relationship. Kate Hudson plays a magazine writer who has to produce a piece about all of the terrible mistakes that women make in relationships that drive men away.
It will be sort of a dating how-to in reverse.
What not to do.
Yeah.
How to lose a guy in 10 days.
Matthew McConaughey is a PR chief who sets out to prove that he can make a woman fall in love with him in a matter of days. While he's trying to attract her, she's trying to repel him.
Oh, you are already falling in love with me.
I'm gonna make you wish you were dead.
The dynamic only gets funnier as the movie progresses, and she tries more and more outlandish ways to show the clingy and over-the-top ways some people behave in relationships.
Our love fern! It's dead!
No, honey, it's just sleeping.
You let it die!
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Bridget Jones's Diary. A hot mess makes for a hilarious protagonist.
New Year's resolution, drink less. Oh, and quit smoking. Oh. And keep New Year's resolutions.
Easy A. Rumours might kill a reputation, but they're a recipe for comedy gold.
It's just a thing that's going around.
You know, nothing you're saying is making me feel any better.
Not to mention how you've been dressing the last few days. No judgment, but you kind of look like a stripper.
Mom!
A high-end stripper. For governors or athletes.
Isn't it romantic? Reminds us why we love rom-coms in the first place.
I've never had a night like this before. Rain. Really? That's a citation.
Just go with it. Forget love triangle, it's more like a love hexagon.
Even though it did not work out between us at all.
It's like it never happened, you know?
It really isn't. I still want my Danny to be happy.
Oh, look at that.
Happy.
2 weeks notice. Workplace comedy plus romance. Sign us up.
I don't sleep well, mostly because you keep calling me in the middle of the night, and if you don't call me, I dream that you're gonna call me. I think about you in the shower, not in a good way, but in an I'm so distracted I can't remember if I washed my hair kind of way, so I'll wash my hair twice.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. My Big Fat Greek Wedding focuses on Tula, a shy and introverted Greek woman living in Chicago who has always done what's expected of her, until she falls for a non-Greek guy.
He doesn't eat meat.
He don't eat no meat?
No, he doesn't eat meat.
What do you mean he don't eat no meat? Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I make lamb.
This is one of those delightful movies that's oh so comforting to watch, because nothing really bad happens. Sure, Ian has a bit of a tough time getting used to Tula's zany family, but the conflict is pretty minimal.
Come on, lighten up. Lighten up. I'll lighten you. I'll lighten you when I take out your kidneys.
Oh, hey.
One more time, Ian. Hey, Angelo.
Hey, Ian.
We're gonna kill ya! Opa!
What carries the movie is the utterly charming cast of characters who make us laugh all the way through, whether they're curing everything with Windex or getting personal with the in-laws.
And inside the lump, he found teeth and a spinal column. Yes, inside the lump was my twin.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.